Chapter 1: The Council's Watchful Eye. For millennia, the Galactic Council had observed the diverse species under its vast dominion. This coalition of advanced civilizations had grown accustomed to maintaining order across the stars through a delicate balance of power, manipulation, and overwhelming force. Each species in the galaxy had its role, its strengths, and its weaknesses, attributes the Council meticulously catalogued. Humanity was no exception. To the Council, however, humans were peculiar. Unlike many species that sought dominance through conquest or innovation in warfare, humans appeared to thrive on diplomacy. They had an uncanny ability to mediate, compromise, and build alliances. This preference for dialogue and negotiation was evident in humanity's history, even before their ascension to interstellar awareness. Earth's annals were filled with instances of leaders working tirelessly to avoid wars or to end them quickly when they began. Even when humanity faced existential threats, they often turned to treaties, coalitions, and strategic accords rather than total war. To the Council, this behavior was interpreted not as wisdom but as weakness. They saw humanity's aversion to violence as a flaw, a reluctance to embrace the brutal realities of survival in a cutthroat galaxy. While other species fortified themselves with armies and armadas, humanity seemed to build embassies and trade agreements. The Council dismissed this as cowardice and unwillingness to wield power decisively. The Council's members debated humanity's nature at length. Reports of Earth's diplomatic tendencies poured in from their intelligence networks, reinforcing the prevailing opinion that humans were unprepared for the unforgiving nature of galactic warfare. A species that sought peace at every turn, they reasoned, could never stand against those who wielded strength without hesitation. And so, the Council began to view Earth as a tempting prize. Its rich natural resources and strategic location in the Milky Way made it an ideal addition to the Council's domain. To them, humanity seemed like low-hanging fruit ripe for conquest and incapable of resistance. Chapter 2: A Calculated Gamble. The Council's decision to target Earth was not one made in haste. It was the result of calculated analysis, informed by centuries of experience dominating lesser civilizations. The fleet they assembled to carry out the conquest was among the most formidable in the galaxy, a technological marvel designed to overwhelm and intimidate. The plan was simple and, in the Council's view, foolproof. A fleet of monumental scale would position itself at the edge of Earth's solar system. From there, a single ultimatum would be delivered: surrender unconditionally or face annihilation. If humanity resisted, the fleet's overwhelming firepower would ensure that resistance was short-lived. In their chambers, Council members debated only minor details. Most agreed that humanity would capitulate almost immediately. A few dissenting voices warned against underestimating Earth, but these were swiftly dismissed. Humanity's history of avoiding conflict was proof enough to the Council that their demands would be met without a fight. As the fleet began its journey toward Earth, the Council turned its attention to what would come after the conquest. Administrators prepared plans for integrating Earth into the Council's vast empire. Engineers mapped out how to extract Earth's resources efficiently, while strategists discussed the potential benefits of using the planet as a staging ground for future campaigns. The decision to target Earth was not without a degree of arrogance. The Council saw themselves as the pinnacle of galactic civilization, their fleets and technology unmatched. In their eyes, humanity's inability or unwillingness to project strength made them unworthy of respect. But beneath the Council's confidence lay a fatal flaw: they had never truly understood humanity. Chapter 3: A Quiet Resolve. On Earth, the arrival of the Council's fleet did not go unnoticed. Advanced telescopes and sensors detected the approaching armada long before it reached the solar system. At first, Earth's governments were uncertain of the fleet's intentions, but as the ships took up positions around the planet, the threat became clear. Earth's leaders convened in emergency sessions, their discussions hushed but determined. Messages were sent through diplomatic channels to the Council, seeking clarification of their motives and proposing peaceful dialogue. These messages were carefully crafted, polite, measured, and optimistic about resolving the situation without violence. However, behind the scenes, Earth's preparations for war began in earnest. Military leaders activated long-dormant defense systems, some of which had been kept secret even from the planet's allies. Spacecraft armed with cutting-edge weapons were brought online, and contingency plans were dusted off and updated. Humanity's history, while marked by diplomacy, was also a history of resilience. The peaceful era of interstellar diplomacy had not erased centuries of lessons learned through blood and fire. Leaders across the globe understood the stakes. If the Council wanted war, humanity would give it to them, but on their terms. The mobilization was quiet but resolute. Earth's response to the Council's ultimatum reflected a dual strategy: keep the enemy focused on diplomacy while preparing for the worst. This careful balance of public calm and private readiness was a hallmark of humanity's adaptability. The Council, however, misread humanity's actions. The continued diplomatic overtures only reinforced their belief that humanity was desperate and afraid. They failed to see the signs of Earth's quiet resolve, mistaking caution for cowardice. Chapter 4: The Ultimatum and the Warning. When the Council's ultimatum arrived, it was as blunt as it was arrogant. The message, transmitted directly to Earth's leadership, demanded unconditional surrender within 24 hours. The consequences of refusal were laid out in stark terms: the complete destruction of Earth's cities and the annihilation of its population. The Council believed the ultimatum would break humanity's will. Instead, it had the opposite effect. Earth's response was calm and composed, almost unnervingly so. In a statement issued to the Council, humanity reaffirmed its desire for peace but warned against misjudging their resolve. The message was brief, almost curt, and carried an unmistakable undertone of defiance. For a moment, the Council hesitated. There was something unsettling about the tone of Earth's reply. But their confidence quickly returned. They dismissed the warning as a desperate bluff, the last gasp of a species clinging to hope in the face of overwhelming power. And so, the Council prepared to strike. Convinced of their imminent victory, they failed to see the storm that was about to engulf them. Chapter 5: The First Salvo. The Council fleet, numbering in the thousands, formed an ominous constellation at the edges of Earth's atmosphere. The ships were masterpieces of engineering, sleek, immense, and bristling with weapons capable of vaporizing continents. From orbit, the fleet's shadow darkened Earth's skies, a grim reminder of the Council's ultimatum. As the countdown to humanity's surrender ticked away, Earth remained unnervingly quiet. The Council interpreted this silence as paralysis, the despair of a species incapable of facing a superior foe. In truth, Earth's leaders had used every second of the countdown to finalize their countermeasures. When the deadline expired, the Council wasted no time. The first salvo was a calculated display of power. A single strike from one of the fleet's capital ships obliterated a swath of uninhabited terrain in the middle of a desert, a warning shot, precise and devastating. The Council broadcast a message to Earth, declaring the destruction a prelude to worse if humanity did not capitulate. The Council's confidence was absolute. They were prepared to unleash their full arsenal if needed, but they were not prepared for what came next. Without warning, Earth's skies erupted with activity. Massive energy surges lit up the planet's surface as defense systems hidden beneath its crust came online. Orbital platforms, previously indistinguishable from civilian satellites, revealed themselves as weapons platforms armed with cutting-edge railguns and directed energy cannons. The first counterstrike was surgical, targeting the Council's forward assault ships. Beams of light and hyper-accelerated projectiles tore through the Council's fleet with pinpoint accuracy. Ships that had once been considered impervious crumbled under the onslaught. The Council's shock was palpable. Their tactical screens lit up with alerts and casualty reports. The ships they had believed unassailable were being systematically dismantled. Earth, the peaceful world they had dismissed as defenseless, was fighting back. Chapter 6: Humanity's Hidden Strength. The Council's analysts scrambled to understand the sudden shift in the battlefield. How had Earth, a planet they had deemed militarily insignificant, mounted such a devastating defense? The truth lay in humanity's adaptability and resourcefulness. For decades, Earth's governments had invested heavily in clandestine defense projects, understanding that their peace might one day be threatened by forces beyond their control. These efforts were carried out in secrecy, shielded from even their closest allies to prevent leaks. The weapons Earth now unleashed were the product of these preparations. Advanced railguns, capable of firing projectiles at near-light speed, shredded Council ships with kinetic energy alone. Directed energy weapons, designed to bypass traditional shielding systems, burned through hulls as if they were paper. But Earth's greatest weapon was its people. Humanity's history of struggle and survival had forged a species capable of extraordinary resilience. Engineers, scientists, and strategists worked around the clock, adapting existing technologies to counter the Council's fleet. Soldiers, pilots, and even civilian volunteers joined the fight, their determination unwavering. The Council, accustomed to easy victories, struggled to adapt. Their fleet was vast and powerful, but it was designed for overwhelming force, not prolonged conflict. Their reliance on superior technology had made them complacent, and Earth exploited every weakness. As the battle raged, humanity began to turn the tide. Council ships that ventured too close to the planet were targeted by ground-based missile systems, their advanced guidance systems hacked and reprogrammed by Earth's cyber warfare teams. Stealth drones infiltrated the Council fleet, sabotaging critical systems before self-destructing. The Council's arrogance had blinded them to humanity's true nature. Now, they were paying the price. Chapter 7: The Battle for the Skies. The conflict escalated into a full-scale war, the skies above Earth becoming a chaotic battleground. Council ships, once symbols of unassailable power, now fought desperately to maintain control. Earth's forces, though smaller in number, fought with the ferocity of a cornered predator. The Council deployed reinforcements, bringing in ships from across their territories. The fleet swelled to twice its original size, filling Earth's orbit with a labyrinth of firepower. Their commanders believed this would be enough to crush humanity's resistance, but they underestimated Earth's resolve. Humanity's ingenuity continued to shine. Scientists developed adaptive shielding systems that could repel the Council's energy weapons, while engineers retrofitted civilian spacecraft into makeshift warships. Every resource was utilized, every strategy considered. Earth's leaders implemented a decentralized command structure, ensuring that no single strike could cripple their defenses. Communications relays were scattered across the planet, some even buried deep beneath the oceans. This approach frustrated the Council's attempts to disrupt Earth's coordination. In space, the battle was relentless. Earth's pilots flew daring missions, weaving through the Council's formations to strike at vulnerable targets. Many paid the ultimate price, but their sacrifices were not in vain. Council ships fell one by one, their debris raining down like falling stars. The Council, despite their overwhelming numbers, began to falter. Their forces were spread thin, and their command structure struggled to adapt to Earth's unorthodox tactics. For the first time in centuries, the Council faced the possibility of defeat. On the surface, humanity's unity reached unprecedented levels. Political divisions were set aside, replaced by a singular focus on survival. The people of Earth, from every nation and background, worked together in ways that the Council could never have imagined. The Council's hubris had led them to believe that humanity was weak. They had overlooked the strength that lay in humanity's unity, adaptability, and indomitable spirit. As the battle reached its climax, Earth's defenders prepared for their final stand. The Council's fleet, though battered, was far from defeated. Humanity had proven its strength, but the war was far from over. Chapter 8: A New Dawn. The battle for Earth had reached its crescendo. The skies were a kaleidoscope of fire and debris, a brutal testament to the unyielding conflict between humanity and the Council. Ships burned like dying suns, their wreckage scattered across the heavens. On the ground, the people of Earth gazed upward, their hearts heavy with both fear and hope. In orbit, the Council's flagship, the Eternum, loomed like a predator poised for the kill. Commanded by High Arbiter Vexus, the ship was the embodiment of Council superiority, its armor impenetrable, its weapons unmatched. For Vexus, the battle had become personal. Humanity's defiance was an affront to the Council's authority, and he was determined to crush it. But humanity had other plans. In a secret bunker deep beneath Earth's surface, the remnants of Earth's leadership convened for what they believed might be their final act. Among them were military strategists, scientists, and civilian leaders, united by a singular purpose. They had developed a bold plan, one that carried immense risk but promised a chance at survival. At the heart of the plan was the Spear of Dawn, a prototype weapon developed in utmost secrecy. It was a fusion of humanity's ingenuity and the remnants of alien technology salvaged from previous encounters with the Council. The weapon was capable of generating a singularity, a micro-black hole, that could annihilate any target, no matter how formidable. The spear, however, was untested. Its deployment required pinpoint precision and a pilot willing to sacrifice everything. That pilot was Commander Elise Carter, a veteran of countless battles and a symbol of humanity's resilience. As Elise prepared for the mission, she addressed the world in a live broadcast. Her words were calm but resolute. "This is not the end of humanity," she declared. "It is a new beginning. We have faced the impossible and stood our ground. No matter what happens today, know that we are not defined by fear or weakness. We are defined by our will to endure, to adapt, and to fight for our future." Her words ignited a spark of hope across the globe. With the spear mounted on a heavily modified spacecraft, Elise launched into the chaos of the battle. Her target, the Eternum. The Council's flagship was the linchpin of their fleet, its destruction essential to breaking their morale. As Elise's craft pierced through the atmosphere, the Council fleet moved to intercept. Swarms of fighters and automated drones converged on her position, but Earth's forces were ready. Squadrons of human pilots, flying everything from advanced fighters to retrofitted shuttles, launched a desperate counteroffensive. They created a corridor for Elise, shielding her from the brunt of the assault. Inside the Eternum, Vexus watched the unfolding battle with a mixture of rage and disbelief. The humans were supposed to be broken, yet they fought with a tenacity that defied reason. His officers urged him to retreat, but Vexus refused. He ordered the full might of the flagship's weapons to focus on Elise's craft. Elise's journey to the flagship was harrowing. Her craft was battered by enemy fire, its systems failing one by one. But she pressed on, guided by Earth's ground control and her unwavering determination. As she neared the Eternum, the spear's targeting systems locked onto the massive ship. In those final moments, Elise activated the weapon. The spear emitted a blinding pulse of energy as it created the singularity. The micro-black hole tore through the Eternum, consuming it from the inside out. The flagship, once a symbol of invincibility, imploded in a cataclysmic burst of light and energy. The shockwave rippled through the Council fleet. With their flagship destroyed and their chain of command in disarray, the remaining ships retreated. Earth's defenders watched in awe and relief as the once dominant fleet fled into the void. But the victory came at a cost. Elise's craft was caught in the singularity's gravitational pull. Her final transmission was a simple message: humanity endures. On Earth, celebrations erupted. Cities that had been shrouded in darkness for weeks lit up with fireworks and cheers. The Council's retreat marked not just a military victory but a triumph of the human spirit. In the days that followed, Earth's leaders sent a message to the Council, delivered through intercepted communication channels. It was not a declaration of war but a statement of resolve. "We are not your subjects. We are not your prey. We are humanity, and we will not be conquered." The Council, stunned by their defeat, faced an unprecedented crisis. For the first time in centuries, their authority had been challenged and beaten. Whispers of rebellion stirred within their ranks as other species, inspired by humanity's defiance, began to question the Council's dominance. On Earth, the scars of the battle were evident, but so was the unity that had emerged from the conflict. Nations that had once been rivals now stood as allies, their bonds forged in the crucible of war. Humanity began to rebuild, not just their cities but their future. The technologies developed during the war were repurposed for exploration and innovation. Plans were set in motion to venture into the stars, not as conquerors but as explorers, determined to carve out their place in the cosmos. Elise Carter's sacrifice became a symbol of humanity's resilience. Monuments were erected in her honor, her name etched into the annals of history. Her legacy inspired a generation of dreamers and pioneers, ready to embrace the challenges that lay ahead. The war with the Council was over, but humanity's journey was just beginning. For the first time in their history, they looked to the stars not with fear but with hope.